What's going on, everyone? So LaMarcus Aldridge was no joke. This guy was 6'11", play power forward, play center, absolute butter from the mid-range, could do a little bit of everything. He's not like an all-time great, but he was definitely a star in his heyday at his time. Really kind of shaped and molded as the NBA started to move into that kind of stretch big, 3-point, stepping out to the three. He eventually was able to do that. He went from early in his career, basically taking no threes, to basically 3 to 4 threes a game on, 38 to 39% from 3-point range. Even had some of that time with San Antonio. Now, he was the star in Portland, right? When he was with the Portland Trailblazers. Even Damian Lillard recently talked about how, he believes that Portland and himself would have had an NBA championship had LaMarcus Aldridge stayed with Portland and not went to San Antonio, because, Damian was starting to come into his own. And he even said, LaMarcus Aldridge was that guy. And this is a guy that, again, go get you, anywhere from 2 blocks a game, get you a steal, basically defend, switch out multiple positions. He wasn't this, all defensive guy, but he could hold his own a little bit on the defensive side. But he was just an absolute bucket getter. And as I mentioned, that mid-range was just A1, absolute butter. This was a guy that was, 23 to, 22 to 23 point a game guy in his heyday, and was a piece that many thought, right, in the right situation, right environment, could have won an NBA championship. He ended up going to the San Antonio Spurs. There was a lot of excitement and joy of LaMarcus Aldridge. That was a big acquisition for the Spurs at that time, and ultimately they weren't able to pull it off with him, and then he goes to Brooklyn, and that was the end of his career. So it's one of those things where it's man, he was, when you actually watch him play, he could do a little bit of everything out there. So there is news that has came out that him, given the Spurs, still has ties and connections to the Spurs, that he wants to work out with Victor Wembanyama. And I love this idea, right? Because again, LaMarcus Aldridge, he could do a lot of the things that teams want. He is the prototypical kind of stretch big nowadays, right? 6'11", 250, play power forward, play center, so he's versatile in that regard. Could stretch out the floor, right? If he was in his heyday, in his prime right now, he'd probably get a lot more recognition than he gets during this time, right? Because, he came into the league in 2006. Right, so he ended up retiring in 2021. So it is one of those things where it's he early on in his career wasn't in that, he kind of evolved into that prototypical stretch big, you saw with Kevin Love and stuff like that. So when he first came in, he never really took threes, getting still absolute money from mid, but he wasn't a guy that was looked at as that crazy versatile. He was that center, right? He basically played power forward center for his career, or was the more traditional power forward early on. First season he played center, but was more the traditional power forward early on, and then eventually evolved into that hybrid type. Victor Wembanyama is a lot of the same, right? Except for instead of him being 6'11", he's 7'11", right? No, with 8-foot wingspan, it's not really that joke actually is pretty accurate. But point is that, you look at Victor Wembanyama, his ability to shoot from the mid-range, shoot from 3, right? LaMarcus Aldridge helping him with his footwork, and just all the things that LaMarcus Aldridge could provide and help Victor Wembanyama kind of continue to grow and emerge as that star, right? Mid-range is a very important shot in the league, particularly in the playoffs, right? Because teams are so focused on protecting the paint and packing in the paint, but also the emphasis is to close out hard on the 3. Right? So basically you try to close hard out on the 3, which forces the shooter to either take a bad shot or they have to, get in, and then that's where the defense can help collapse. But you see when teams have guys that can knock down the mid-range, they become a lot more effective in the playoffs. Look at all the teams that have won throughout the years, right? Like Golden State, yes, they shoot the three, credible, but Steph, Clay, KD were excellent in the mid-range, right? They weren't just only a three-point shooting team. I mean, there were years that they weren't even, they didn't even take the most threes in the league, right? Boston last year, again, took a lot of threes, but again, they had Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, right? Drew Holiday, Derek White, all these guys that were great in the mid-range, that can knock down the mid-range shot. You look at Dallas or Denver, right? I mean, even Dallas, right? Luka, great in the mid-range. Kyrie, great in the mid-range, right? You kind of go down the list. Go look at all the NBA Finals teams, right? Whether they won or lost, they had usually multiple guys that were very good in the mid-range. And so if you can get a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge to really help Victor with his three-point shooting, with his mid-range, right? Like, I just think that it really go a long way, right? LaMarcus Aldridge, I think, really can teach Victor a lot out on the basketball court. Now, Victor Wembanyama is just like, we've never seen anything like him. So there's not really a comparison, but there is the, like, hey, if he can become a real offensive threat, a real offensive weapon, watch out. Get out the way, right? Because defensively, Victor's going to be the best defensive player in the league. I thought he was last year, and I thought he should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year, and I felt like they didn't give it to him because he was a rookie, which I think is ridiculous. It's a Defensive Player of the Year award. It goes to who is the best defensive player, and I thought Victor was that. But defensively, he's going to be an absolute monster. He may end up being the best defensive player ever. But offensively, what does he provide? Yes, he was, 21, 22 last season, but can he maintain that? Can he take those shots? Can he be the best defensive player in the league, but still go get you 25 to 30, right? And if he needs to kind of refine his offensive repertoire, again, he's shown the ability to do everything, right? He's shown the ability to step out, knock down the three. He's shown the ability to knock down the mid-range, shown the ability to put the ball on the deck and get to the basket, shown the ability to catch the lob and finish, shown the ability to finish through contact. He is a legit three-level scorer, no ands, ifs, buts about it. Victor Wembanyama is excellent, right? And can do a little bit of everything on the court. But if he can really go from being good at those things to, he is an elite mid-range. He is elite shooting the three ball, right? Being around the basket, you're not really going to have to worry about Victor in that regard because, again, Victor's just so big, long, right? Like, he's gonna be money around the basket. But it's the three-point shot and being able to stretch out. It's the mid-range, right? Him being versatile and being able to slot over and play the three, play the four and the five, right? Because there may be times where, if you're playing Minnesota, right, it'd be nice to have somebody that you can throw on Rudy Gobert and now you can have Victor kind of defend out with Cat, right? Like, I want to see Victor continue to work on his game and home score, which he's relentless about. Right? I'm not worried about him being that guy. But anytime you can learn from a 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA type guy, right? A guy that actually played the position, because it's not a guard. It's not like he's learning from LaMarcus Aldridge was a power forward center that could do a lot of the things that Victor can do out there on the basketball court and do it efficiently and effectively and at a high level. Right? This again, LaMarcus Aldridge was no joke, man. Again, he's not an all-time great. He's not some like super duper star that people talk about, but he is like if you got to watch him play, there's no doubt that he was a stud. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like this idea of LaMarcus Aldridge working out with Victor Wembanyama? He really wants to kind of help Victor refine his game, work out. I do think, again, Aldridge is a guy that can really help in that area, in that regard. Help just, again, if I'm Victor, I'm just taking pieces from everybody, right? If you can work out with Hakeem, go work out with Hakeem. If you can work out with, Anthony Davis, go work out with Anthony Davis. You go work out with, Karl Anthony Towns, LaMarcus Aldridge, and all these. Like, get a little bit from everybody, right? I mean, he's even talked about KD, right? That he wants to, take things for KD, right? Like, go get a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge that you can sit there and work with, and he can help you kind of round out and map out your game. I think that could really go a long way. But do you feel the same way? Do you think like, nah, like what is Marcus Aldridge going to teach Victor Wembanyama? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.